8 race card at Hastings on Saturday. Jason Tarn with me to have a look at the Hawke's Bay Gold Cup. Got a really good sprinting race there as well. The undercard's strong too.
Yeah, very good betting card there at the Hawke's Bay. Currently, as we record this, the track is a dead 6. There is a little bit of rain in the forecast, which I hope doesn't eventuate to any significant degree, but it's a watching brief on how it might affect the track. But he's hoping a dead 6 is what presents throughout the day.
Okay, nice horse lining up in the first of the day. This is the East Coast Rural Support Trust over 1,300 metres. Misty Universe, $3.30. Is that about his price?
Yeah, he could start a little bit shorter. I think what's stopping bookmakers going shorter and maybe the market really jumping in is where that track will be. I don't think he wants it much worse than a dead 6 relative to the chances of others, you know. If this was a sort of a dead 4 or good 3 track, then I think he would be maybe even a point shorter than that. Castani has good ratings, will run well. Stella Noir, what an enigma she is. She started off with a massive rap from Tony Pike, and when Tony raps a horse, you listen, and you always have that in the back of your mind, even though their form might be going through a bit of a down, and that's her Stella Noir. You just wonder if there will be a time where she clicks into action and then she starts winning them through the grades. But I'm happy to go with Mr. Universe to win to start the program.
Son of Smart Missile, who was very good hitting the line at Awapuni last time. Race number 2 on the card is the Farmlands 2-year-old, Pew Cigar. The 6, closely related to Avantage, of course, for the Calders. Nice to see it back at the races, 260 favourite.
Very hard race. I don't really like betting into 2-year-old races as a general rule, particularly races with first starters. Carly's come up $3.30 now. I nominated Carly as an each-way play, but clearly that's not an each-way price, so we'll magically change that to a win and just have a small spec. It's a race that I'm not going to be outlaying sort of to any significant degree.
Okay, 1,300 for the 2-year-old. Should be a good watch. The second. Let's move to race number 3, Civil Contractors New Zealand, over 2,500 metres. Thought you could make a case for just about the whole field here, Jason.
Yeah, it's a really competitive race. There's not much over the ratings of a number of horses. Look, I thought Red Cloud might be shorter than $6, and given the compressed nature, I think, of the chances of the runners in this race, I'm happy to go with Red Cloud on an each-way basis. Jonathan Parks, as we know, is riding in super form. He's coming off a 5-timer at Otaki during the week. But Red Cloud, I'm happy to play Red Cloud each way in that small field.
Okay, Amarata for Chris Johnson with a little bit of support there as well. So from 2,500 metres, we go back to 1,300 metres with the next race, which is the 4th, the W.R. Dyer Livestock, over 1,300 metres. Short fuse 460, walking by 460. Ice Bomb $6, $7 O for Awesome. Another even race here, Jason.
Look, generally at Hawke's Bay, you'd say up and in is not a bad thing, and so horses like Short Fuse and Walk and By, they're well drawn. Short Fuse has more tactical speed than Walk and By, so I think that's to her advantage. I think if Cameron Lammas can just find a spot behind the lead, maybe in either the 1-1 or the trail position. Just will need a little bit of luck if caught on the rail in the trail. But I think that gives her the tick over Walk and By, whose overall form is as good as anything in the race. And if she gets clear air, she has got a very sharp sprint. So if she gets clear the last 250, she'll make it a race, but Short Fuse for me.
Okay, on to race number 5, New Zealand Bloodstock Finance Sprint over 1,200 metres. Endless drama up the top. $12. Princess Kidadu, though, as we spoke about on the show, looks pretty well placed.
It's not an easy race. It's not straightforward. Look, she's in rock solid form, Princess Kidadu. There are other runners that are as well, and there are a few weight swings that, well, against her and Volks Lightning with Cavella Veloce out of their last run in Passing Shot. Princess Kidadu comes in okay, as does Passing Shot relative to Volks Lightning, who beat them at Trentham. But Princess Kidadu is the top selection. I'm warming to Pretty to See at $11 is not a bad price, and it's going to be a case of watching how the track plays and how the pattern of the day unfolds with the weather, because Pretty to See by that point might actually be might actually be a good chance. But Princess Keteru 2 units, Volts Lightning is still backable at that double figure price. I thought it should be shorter, so I'm a little bit surprised. So you have to have something on her. That's the play at this stage, but I'm going to be pretty flexible with that race. It's not a race that I'm going to be going in locked in. I'll be watching the day unfold and then playing accordingly to my market.
5 after 3, the start time of that. Bailey's Rural 1400, our next at 20 minutes to 4. This is over 1,400 metres, Langkawi at $4. Interesting, Jason, 2,000 metres back to 1,400 metres in your years of punting. Is that something you've seen work in the past?
Oh, you don't see it often, but I suppose it's all about the horse itself and how the horse itself will cope. So he's going to be presented in good order by Peter Mackay. So I see no dramas with it because I see 1,400 metres actually being a good trip for him. See him sitting midfield from that draw and coming with a really strong sort of run. He'll be rock hard fit. I like the numbers that he's delivered throughout his career, and it wasn't a bad performance actually. I think he's a really good play where you'd emphasise a bigger weighting of your bank that you want to spend on the race, on the place. So even though he's $4, you're looking and go, oh, that's quite short. But if you play sort of a 1x3, then you're going to make a little bit of a profit if he manages to place, which, yeah, I think he's better than an odds-on chance as the market reflects, but well better than an odds-on chance of doing.
Yeah, looking forward to taking Terra Sancta on in there, who is in a fresh state. Race number 7, Royston Hospital Hawke's Bay Cup, 2,200 metres the trip, Igrain 350, Falar 330. We got the first call special on Igrain to, if she finishes second or third, refund. A horse that you've made your best bet of the weekend.
Look, it's not easy for her to give Falar 3 kilos in a handicap race, but I think that she presents with a really good preparation. She's had a couple of runs to fit in for this. 2,200 metres, an ideal trip, and the conditions at the moment at dead 6 are fine, and if there's any deterioration of the track, that's probably a positive for her compared to a couple of others in the race. She maps well. She's my best of the weekend, Igrain, and I'm more than happy with the $3.50 that presents right now.
And to round out the day, the hashtag GoWinks Miles 1,600. What's up at the top of the book? $9, $3. Gee, if you find some each way in here, Jason, there's a few to pick from.
There sure is. Lincoln Fury's the horse that I settled on, and short enough at $4.80, I must say. Red Beach is awkwardly drawn, but I don't mind the form that it brings. Harbourside's there at 8, a decent chance. Collins Street over 1,600 metres might be able to run a cheeky race, and yeah, I might have missed the winner there. It's that competitive, this rating race over 1,600 metres. And when going through the form, I was happy to be on Lincoln Fury. Didn't mind the form lines around it. But again, it's not a high confidence race. Hoping that I've made the money already with Igrain in the previous.
Okay, she's the best, and you're suggesting a couple of races. We watch patterns and markets and see how we go.
Most certainly, that sprint's a really good betting race, but it's the type of race that you don't want to go in too fixed. Obviously, you have your preparation there, but don't go into it too fixed. You do just simply have to see how things transpire and see what the market's doing with a couple of runners.
Thanks, Jason. To you at home, enjoy the weekend. That is your preview for Hastings.